Hello and welcome to Opera Guide. I'm Val, and this is the Week in Opera. It's Sunday, the 16th of August, 2026. The soprano Jill Gomez has died at 83. She was born in New Amsterdam in what was then British Guiana and is now Guyana. She grew up in Trinidad, came to England at 13, and studied at the Royal Academy of Music and then the Guildhall. She made her debut at Glyndebourne and won their John Christie Award twice. Her solo operatic debut in 1968 was Adina in Donizetti's L'Elysir d'Amour with Glyndebourne Touring Opera. 2 years later, she created the role of Flora in Michael Tippett's The Knot Garden at Covent Garden. Creating a role means singing it first, with the composer writing for your voice. She did it again much later, creating the Duchess of Argyll in Powder Her Face. She sang at Aldeburgh, English National Opera, Scottish Opera, Frankfurt, Bordeaux, Kent Opera, the Berlioz Festival in Lyon, and Wexford. Here's the part worth knowing. Gomez was openly critical of what she called the international opera circus. She had no ambition to sing at the very largest houses. She preferred smaller theaters and said so because a smaller theater gave her enough rehearsal time to do the work properly. Every incentive in this business points the other way: bigger house, bigger fee, bigger name. She looked at that and took the rehearsal. It probably cost her the kind of fame that would have made her name familiar to you. She left a great deal behind on record, particularly in 20th century English repertoire. Grange Park Opera has announced the death of Christina Gascoigne at 88. She was an artist working in ceramics, silks, and photography. She met Bamber Gascoigne at Cambridge, and they married in 1965. In 2014, he unexpectedly inherited West Horsley Place, a 14th century house on a 350-acre estate in Surrey, from an aunt. The place was in poor repair. They put it into a charitable trust rather than sell it. In May 2015, a group from Grange Park Opera came to ask whether they might build an opera house in the garden. The company had just lost its lease in Hampshire. Wasfi Khani, who runs Grange Park, recounted Christina's answer this week. She said, "Bamber, imagine a beautiful bird has landed in our garden." They said yes. 11 months later, there was a 5-story opera house in the woods, modeled on La Scala, seating 700. The Times Arts Awards called it the fastest construction of an opera house in history. The company's orchestra is named after them. 2 deaths this week, then, and they are not the same kind of loss. One is a singer who spent a career on stages. The other is a woman who gave away a house so that other people could sing in it. To Washington. The Kennedy Center Board voted on Thursday to close the building. A $250 million renovation, structural repairs, new marble floors, nearly $12 million of acoustic work, $7 million on public restrooms. The 3,000-pound bronze bust of John F. Kennedy moves temporarily to another building on the campus. The contractor is targeting a reopening in summer 2028. The Reach, a newer addition to the site, stays open for limited programming. The board also resolved that the building will carry an inscription beneath the main signage. It reads, "Restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump." This is the second time the board has voted for this. An earlier attempt was blocked by a federal judge, and the name was ordered removed once already. I'll leave the politics there. You'll have your own view, and it isn't mine to shape. The opera story inside it has had the least attention. The Washington National Opera is gone. Resident at the Kennedy Center since the building opened in 1971. 55 years. They announced they were leaving in January. The two sides do not agree about what happened. The company said it left over irreconcilable differences about the institution's new financial model. The Kennedy Center said the decision was theirs and cited a financially challenging relationship. The detail underneath that is the one to hold on to. Under the new leadership, arts organizations are required to break even or turn a profit on every production. Every production. That is not how opera works. It is not how dance or theater works either. The model is that some things pay for other things. A popular title in the autumn funds the strange and difficult one in the spring. Take that away, and you do not get a leaner opera company. You get a company that can only ever stage the safe thing. Last week, we talked about the Met programming defensively. 17 productions, the fewest in 60 years, three familiar titles carrying nearly 40% of the performances. This is the same pressure written into a rule. The National Symphony Orchestra is the resident organization that remains, and by several accounts, its finances are now in serious difficulty. Its budget was always more closely tied to the building than the opera companies. As for the opera, they are staging The Crucible, Robert Ward's 1961 setting of Arthur Miller's play about the Salem witch trials, which Miller wrote as a warning about injustice and mass hysteria. Francesca Zambello, their artistic director, has said it has new relevance. I don't think she means the 17th century. Elsewhere, Salzburg has given Cecilia Bartoli a festival brooch set with rubies, presented at a birthday gala. Jack Swanson has won San Francisco Opera's Emerging Stars competition. Neue Stimmen has announced the singers through to its 2026 final round. Lawrence Brownlee and Anthony Roth Costanzo will headline Opera Philadelphia's Mithridate, Ray Di Ponto. And Santa Fe canceled two performances this week, Madama Butterfly on the 10th and Rodelinda on the 11th, because of air quality. Santa Fe's theater is open at the sides, which is part of its appeal, and when the air is bad, a liability. We are not going to stop hearing about that. Cast changes, new this week, and staying. Singers withdraw constantly, and if you follow an artist, you want to know before you are sitting in the theater reading a slip of paper. Nadine Sierra has canceled her concert at the Festival de Toroella. That follows Rene Barbera withdrawing from his Proms debut through illness, and Brian Jagda stepping back from Verona and the Puccini Festival while he recovers from surgery. Jorge de Leon took the Puccini Festival performances. I'll say this once and not repeat it every week. A cast change is not a disappointment. It is what a live art form looks like. Watch this week. Also new, because not everybody lives near an opera house and a great deal of opera is free. OperaVision is a free streaming platform funded by the European Union, carrying productions from 40-odd companies across Europe, available on demand for months after each live stream. Today, Rossini from the Rossini Opera Festival in Pesaro at 11 Central European Time. Friday the 21st, Gluck from the Daegu Opera House in South Korea. The 28th, Verdi from the Opernfestspiele Heidenheim. Irish National Opera is one of the partner companies, so there is usually something Irish there too. No subscription, no trial, subtitles in a great many languages. From the archive, one recording from the collection each week, Aristodemo Giorgini singing Una furtiva lagrima from Donizetti's L'Elisir d'Amore, an Edison Grand Opera Amberol Cylinder from 1910, the same opera Jill Gomez made her debut in 58 years later. Giorgini never carried the way Caruso did, and the cylinder flattens him. What survives is the shaping. He does not push anywhere, including where a modern tenor would. It stays a confidence rather than a display. It's on the channel before I go. 37 days until the Met opens with a new Macbeth. 46 until Covent Garden's Parsifal, the first at that house since 2013. 60 until Wexford for its 75th. Vienna reopens in September. Testament comes to the Gaiety in Dublin, the 8th to the 10th of October. Most productions run for a handful of nights, not months, sometimes as few as 4. So if there's something in that list you want to see, the time to book is now, not when I review it. I'll be at a good deal of it, and I'll tell you what it was like, but I'd rather you were in the room. That's the Week in Opera. If you're new here, this is a weekly companion to the art form. What's on, what's been announced, and why any of it matters. No assumed knowledge, ever. Opera is global, alive, and always worth listening to closely.